letter dated March 6th, addressed to the Governor's Council. Dear Council, I'm pleased to nominate Sydney Hanlon to the position of Associate Justice of the Massachusetts Appeals Court. Sincerely, Deval Patrick, Governor. Judge, before we hear from your distinguished witnesses, I know you have some family members here. I mean, if you'd like to introduce the members before your family members before we start, that'd be fine.
Up here. My cousin Mary, my cousin Mom, his wife Cindy, my niece, this is my cousin Scott.
Yeah,
my niece Taylor Ann, and my cousin Patty. And I have good friends who are family as well that I was.
Yeah, that's fine if you want to say that.
That's Mary Ann Hinkle, Peg Ireland. The witnesses will be introduced separately. My neighbor and friend Mary Ann Hannigan and Mary Ann Higgins. Justice Janet Barry from the Massachusetts Court of Appeals, Judge Tom May, Bill Stewart from Dorchester Probation. Thank you.
Councilor, if I could, I just have to get clarification.
Yes,
I see a family member that I know. I don't want it to come again, but I didn't expect Taylor there.
My cousin I moved on his daughter.
All right, so you brought in all the guns.
Yes, this is an education.
Helpful advocate today.
Depending on how this goes, she's decided whether she wants to be a lawyer.
Well, I know she plays basketball.
At this point, let me introduce you to the other members of the council. To my right here is Councilor Carol Fiola. Seated next to her, Councilor Kelly Timothy. And to my left, Councilor Thomas Merrick. The other councilors come in. I'll introduce you to those folks. Before we hear from you, I know you have 4 people, excuse me, who are listed as witnesses. We'll hear from them first.
Okay.
And the first person on the list is Attorney Michael Doolin.
Good morning, my name is Michael Doolin, and for background, I've been a practicing attorney in the Boston area, and specifically in Dorchester since 1985. I was an assistant district attorney in Dorchester Court and other courts throughout Suffolk County, and for the last 21 years I've been a solo practitioner with an emphasis on criminal defense, and I've been in front of Judge Hanlon, I would suggest to you, probably over 1,000 times. I have been in front of her probably every week since she's been on the bench in Dorchester District Court, and I've had extensive background going in front of her on trials, pleas, arraignments, civil cases, restraining orders, and anything that as a district court judge I've been in front of her. Over the course of time with Judge Hanlon, I've had a chance to observe her demeanor in the courtroom, her writing, her ability to discern legal issues, her ability to be fair to people in the courtroom, and I recommend her to you with my highest recommendation. She is a fabulous, fabulous judge, and even more importantly, I believe she's a tremendous person. During the course of time that I've been in front of her, and over the course of time that I've been an attorney, when you look at a judge and try to discern whether somebody is acting in a way that most judges would want to act in a courtroom, you look at different factors. I think one of the most important things is judicial temperament. The judicial temperament that I've seen from Judge Hanlon over the years has been exemplary. She treats everyone who comes in front of her with the highest degree of fairness. She is kind, she is decent, she has a tremendous amount of humanity. When people come in front of her from the circumstances with which we find ourselves in Dorchester, often people who have not had a tremendous amount of breaks in life, she's always willing to listen. She has instituted programs in the Dorchester Court. She has promoted individuals into going into programs as opposed to incarceration if necessary. She's also guided, I would think, Dorchester Court over the past over 15 years with a very firm hand and a very kind hand. When Judge Hanlon was introducing everyone here earlier today as being members of her family, I think that all of us who have gone into Dorchester Court over 15 years, in many ways regard Judge Hanlon as a member of our family because she has treated us with that way. She's respectful to everyone who comes in front of her. She knows the name of every person. She knows every person's children. She knows their spouse. She is a tremendous writer, which I think is something that's very important for what we have in front of us here today, which is her going to the Court of Appeals. She has written opinions that I have seen that are always well researched. She's always up on the cutting edge of the law, knows all the opinions, not just from the Massachusetts courts, but from the U.S.
speak on behalf of Judge Hanlon. That's fine. Very much so. Judge Hanlon and I have been friends for more than 35 years. We met in Providence, Rhode Island, when we had adjoining Hamilton in the garden in 1972. During the many years of our friendship since that time, we have, of course, had innumerable conversations about our various jobs, including countless discussions of legal issues related to her work. I have watched her grow and learn and change over those years as she moved from the offices of the district attorney, the U.S. attorney, and the assistant attorney general to the Baltimore Municipal Court. In all of those roles, Sydney has been characterized by an extraordinary degree of integrity and commitment to those she was serving and to the law. I do not use the word integrity lightly, but it's the only word that suits Sydney's formidable devotion to her profession as an attorney and as a judge. In all of the roles in which she has served, I've been impressed by the lucidity of her thinking on complex legal issues and moved by the dignity and respect, as the attorney said, with which, both as a prosecutor and as a judge, she unfailingly treats both defendants and victims. Indeed, if one issue has dominated our countless conversations over the years, it is the difficult balance that she consistently strives for and so admirably achieves between compassion and justice, between recognition of the individual realities of each case and each person involved in it, and her deep and abiding respect for the principles of the law and an ideal of justice. In the Dorchester Court in particular, this balance includes a deep awareness of the individual human reality of people who are, unfortunately, not always accorded respect by public institutions. I remember one afternoon that my elderly Aunt Claire and I visited the court in Dorchester. So that my aunt, who was proud and just amazed that women could be judges, could watch my friend on the bench. We were both completely moved, and I, had seen Sydney over the years, so I never really seen her that way on the bench, by the seriousness with which she addressed each person who came before her, both assuming and conferring dignity on people who were homeless or mentally ill or deeply troubled, people who had been brought to the court by some terrible trauma or loss. As a friend of many years standing, and in this case also as an English